Hello, Cancer. This is your extended reading, and this extended is all about faith and seeing in the dark and being able to believe in things that you are not capable of seeing. And I feel like this is like the next step of your own intuition, right? If you were, it's not like you were struggling the first part to reconnect with your own intuitive gift. It's almost like you knew that there was something not working properly, right? Because you didn't have access to seeing something in advance as you would normally have, right? Or because you have, grown accustomed to being like a sensitive, intuitive being, I feel like whenever you didn't have access, and because, to your surprise, I want to say it was something that, as we saw, it was something that maybe was too traumatic in the past for you to hold on to that, right? So you didn't have access to it on purpose, right? So that you could be ready to, once you saw it, it's like you were ready to then get rid of that memory. Or I want to say, more than anything else, it's like get rid of the association that maybe that experience had left on you in a way that was attaching you to another powerful person. It's almost like losing yourself in another, right? So here in the extended, the interesting thing is that we're beginning not only with one card, but two cards, and two cards that were extremely significant in the Gemini reading. That's why I feel like there is like this connection between these two readings, although in different aspects, I want to say, but similar in a way that they are talking about confronting our fears, but also like stepping up from them, right? Not allowing this fear to win over you. So I'm going to explain. These two cards are opening up your extended, the Lovers and the Eight of Swords. So the Lovers was in the extended for Gemini, and the Eight of Swords was in the first part for Gemini. And, for Gemini, these two cards were talking about like constant fear that was attached to their psychic abilities, but then merging this human self with the higher self. For you, Cancer, these two cards are talking about how you, in the past, if you had kept this memory, if you had kept full access to remembering what happened in the past between you and this emperor, it's like this would be like such a deep mark that you would never see yourself as an independent being. It's like you would always see yourself connected, and I want to say in a maybe codependent kind of relationship, but it's like mostly because of the dominance of this emperor over you, right? Maybe you were giving away too much power to this emperor, and they were just, it's almost like they like that. Maybe they were intentionally wanting to take away power from you to, just serve them well, right? To serve them as something that would enrich them, would favor them, right? So, and I want to say it's like you wanted to believe in them, you wanted to see yourself in this maybe relationship, in a healthy relationship with them. But what this Lovers card is talking about is that if you were granted access, free access to that memory your entire life, or until you were ready to see it again, which I want to say it's happening right now, it's like you wouldn't be able to detach, right? It would be too much of a confusing identity, right, between you and this person. It's like you would not know where you begin and where they begin, right? And so because you wouldn't have the ability to discern, because it would be like a real mental mess, right? The Eight of Swords is just talking about like this confusion, right? This mental confusion where you wouldn't have the ability to see different people, to see two separate individuals, right? Maybe because of what unfolded between the two of you in the past. So now it's almost like now you're ready to see this and to face whatever challenge this represents, right? But also seeing this as two independent beings, right? Not one big mess or one whole identity that, you know, combines the two, you know, which is interesting because it's exactly the opposite for Gemini. Gemini was always seeing themselves apart from their higher selves. So it comes a point where they needed to integrate. I feel like for you, Cancer, is exactly the opposite. It's like you were seeing yourself as one with another person, right? And I want to say, feels like a real person in your life, like a very authoritative figure, right? One that has a lot of power and extremely and exceptionally like over you, right? And maybe at the time you didn't have discernment enough to see that, but now you do. Now you're able to detach that, to see the two individuals separately, and it will not cause the same damage as if this information or this revisitation would have, you know, been shown to you openly, right, your entire life. So it was kept in the dark for a reason, right? Just not to harm you in such definite way, right? Like some way that you wouldn't know how to recover from. And I want to say, you are taking small steps. It's like you are now ready because you are so eager. This is really beautiful because after the Eight of Swords, we have the Two of Swords and the Page of Swords. Whereas in the first part, we had the Page of Cups with the Two of Wands. So because you are proving your very pure intention to know something, right? And your maybe your naive, stubborn heart, you know, was not going to go anywhere from knowing it. It's like you were proving the magician that you could approach it, that you could come to the edge, that you could you were prepared to see this. And so this is what is going on here. It's like you are seeing exactly, it's like you're seeing the facts for the facts. You're not seeing it corrupted or it in this confusion, right? It's like you're seeing with discernment. You're seeing with a distance, in a sense, right? And with the Two of Swords and the Page of Swords, it's like the steps that you're taking, because, you know, the Two of Swords traditionally is talking about not being able to see, right? You have the lady with the blindfolds on. So usually it's like not being able to act or to decide or to move because you cannot see properly. But this is what is changing for you, Cancer, because now you have proven that you are ready to deal with this, right? And to overcome this and to free yourself from this, because you're now, it's like now you're ready to see yourself as an independent individual, right? Not one attached to a powerful, what is the word? It's like they were always feeding on your power, right? They were stealing your power in a sense. Anyways, it's not important, right? It's like now it's about you. It's about you understanding that when you were younger, perhaps it's like the universe had its own reasons to block this from you, right? Because it would be too detrimental for you, right? To see this, to be able to deal with it, right? So it's like you had to really like let time go by in a way that you were ready to, it's like you were asking for it. You were seeking to know about why you had that blind spot, why you had that blockage in your memory. And so seeing why you couldn't see it at the time is unlocking this vision, is like opening up your ability to see again, right? It's like whatever you weren't able to see, but you were already so in tune with your heart, right? That you knew that there was something missing, that there was something not working properly, that your antenna was maybe, needing some tweaking or needing some investigation, because you could sense in your heart this pull. But when you see what you couldn't see before, it's like it's like really opening up your vision, right? It's like really taking this blindfold off your eyes in a way that it's like, it's not only, it's almost like I'm seeing this blindfold going off, but it's almost like there are handcuffs also, right? And this, it's almost like maybe if you felt like you weren't free to go wherever you wanted to go, and maybe you didn't know why, because you couldn't see that, right? It was something that you didn't have access to. It's like now that you're free to go, because you can see where you're going, and you can see that wherever you go, these two hearts are now separated. There is no confusion, there is no mess, there is no it's like thinking that you are the emperor, or the emperor is you, or the emperor has dominance or control over you, right? And with this Wheel of Fortune coming next, I feel like there is this sense of understanding destiny, or it's almost like this full comprehension that things had to happen exactly how they did. Even the part when you were blocked from this information, you were blocked from seeing this, right? Or revisiting that specific memory from your past, because you didn't know how, it's like you didn't know the impact that it would have on you if you weren't prepared for it, right? But the universe knows best. It's like they knew that it's like it would be best for you to not see. It would be best for you to not know when you didn't know. But now that you're seeing, it's like you understand it. There is this it's like this serenity, right? It's almost like okay, I accept that things went down this way, but also I accept that I am in control of my own destiny now, right? Because I can see, so I can see where I'm going. I don't have to be led by anybody, right? It's like you are in control of your life now. It's like you are with the, it's almost like you are with the will on your hands, right? And this is something that here, this is the tricky part, okay, for me as a reader, because I was still trying to figure out this part, but I feel like it's almost like this Four of Pentacles followed by the Seven of Wands. It's like there was something that was preventing you from seeing the forest for the trees. This is what was coming through the Seven of Wands. But the Four of Pentacles was taking me back to either the Aries or the Taurus reading again, because it was talking about going back to square one. And this, is associated with this freedom, right? About this new journey that the Fool is ready to embark upon, meaning you, Cancer. And so you knowing that destiny had to, what is the word? Line up things in a way that you felt like you didn't have access to everything was important. And now you know that, now you accept it, now you see. But now that you see also how you weren't in control, right? Maybe because you didn't have the maturity to be in control. But now that you see, it's like you know that you are mature, because it's almost like you're setting the it's like the starting point, right? This Four of Pentacles is talking about like you are it's almost like you're cleaning up the space around you, right? It's like you are preparing the starting line. And this is going to allow you to see further. It's like if you couldn't see the forest for the trees before, it's like cleaning up this starting point, right, is going to allow you to see what you cannot see yet. Because that is exactly the lesson that is coming from having access to this information, to this privileged information, which is, you know, going back to something that you were blocked from in the past, right? So revisiting that and clearing that, it's like clearing that out of the way, right? And taking charge of what you now feel like you are prepared to take control, but in a way that it's like you understand the reasons why you couldn't see and why now you can see. And it's like you are accepting the limitations that you were confronting, right, until now. And so it's almost like it's like the humility to accept that there are always going to be things that that you don't have access to. It's like, but you will have to trust, right? This is the message here at the end, coming with the Hierophant, right? It's like, this is the faith that this moment in your life is asking you to. It's like, if you've proven to the Magician, right, because you just wouldn't leave until you had access to this library, right, and you had to pass through the Magician, right? So the Magician was testing you in a sense, you know, if you would quit, but you stay there until it was time, until they liberated this for you, until they opened the access of this Akashic library for you to access something that was a blind spot, and an intentional blind spot, but you didn't know that until you opened that book, right? But you had to prove to the Magician that you were ready to get that book in the first place. And I feel like you proving that it's almost like this gradual, what is the word? It's like a gradual evolution, but also it's like this gradual understanding, right? This gradual, it's like deeper understanding of the reasons why, you didn't have access before, but now you are ready to see. And because of that, it's like, you know that whenever you cannot see something further down the line, it's not because your connection is broken. It's not because your intuition is faulty or nothing like that. It's because it's like you have been asked to take on, it's like the role of the Hierophant, right? It's like you have to believe even when you don't know. You have to believe even when you cannot see, right? And it's like this stance, right? That was the requirement for you to have access to this information. It's like it was naive and, you know, very innocent and somewhat amusing. But now that you have gone through that process, Cancer, it's like, because this Wheel of Fortune is now in your hands, it's like the responsibility grows, right? It's like this gradual evolution is taking you from the page stand to this Hierophant. It's like you no longer are this naive being, right? It's like you have grown, because you have it's like you have gained access to things that only grown-ups or mature beings can have access to, right? So it's like now you can only see yourself as this Hierophant. And it's not like that. It's talking about the responsibility of holding this wheel, okay? It's like, it's not that this is like something that you will you know, that fate is definite and that you cannot change your destiny. It's more like, because you have proven that you can see even the things that the universe has held from you, has kept a secret from you. It's like you have proven that you don't have to be, it's like, controlled by this source, right? By this external destiny or this external blueprint. It's like now it's like you enter the library, right? So you entered this source of blueprints. So when you get your hands over this, it's like you are now being given this pen and paper so that you can rewrite your destiny in a sense. And that requires maturity, but also requires faith. Because I want to say, even though you are given the opportunity to take this responsibility and to rewrite your own destiny, it's more like, also be humble enough to know that even the Pope, even the Hierophant, even you, no matter how much you know already, right? Or how much of a privileged position you are in, because you are holding this Wheel of Fortune in your hands, but it's also like the responsibility and the humility of being in this position, right? And trusting in even what you cannot see, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how privileged you are of like being in a position where you can see in advance, where you can know things that other people cannot know, right? From their connection. It's like, because you know that your intuitive antenna is really tuned in, and more so than ever right now, because you have been given this, right? So it's not that you were just given, you know, like a sealed piece of your lifetime book, right? But now you were given the entire book with new pages that you can rewrite your story. But you have to be responsible enough and humble enough to step into this role, to step into this. And it's more than a role, right? It's more like a perspective, like a life's point of view, right? That you can see the forest for its trees and vice versa. It's almost like zooming in and zooming out. You have to have the humility of knowing, but also not knowing. And when you don't know, respect it when you don't know. And when you do know, it's like, be grateful and responsible for what you do know, right? That is really incredible. I was not expecting that, because that last part was a little bit tricky and not so clear, to be honest, Cancer. But I feel like it's almost this this word of advice, I want to say, right? It's just a reminder of, you know, the responsibility of being on the oh my god, I cannot speak, on the position where you're in, where you find yourself in right now, that is completely new, I want to say, right? It's like breaking free from the old pattern, although you didn't know exactly how it worked because there was this blind spot. But now, because you see, it's like you are being given this freedom, right? Freedom to choose, freedom to take on this responsibility, freedom for like just taking on the wheel, right? So let's see what the astrological runes have then as a final guidance for you. Whew, that is intense. Oh my god, I just love when these things happen, because the symbols are so multiple, I want to say. I feel like it's like this multi-dimensional language that is embedded in one simple symbol. So I say this because, you know, this is the sun, right? The symbol for the sun in astrology. But this was talking about what I just said, you know, that you are being given the possibility of seeing the forest for the trees and vice versa, right? And zooming in and zooming out. This is what this symbol is talking about in a way that I actually never saw this, but it's like you're able to zoom in to this small dot in the center, but also you are like always also able to zoom out and see things from this wider perspective, right? It's like you have the possibility of seeing the tiny detail, but also seeing this broader understanding, right, of things. But this is, you know, the sun. Okay, now going back to the astrological point of view of the sun is you. The sun is you. But it's, again, it's like going back to what you are being given the responsibility of, or to assume this role, or to take in this spot of the Hierophant, right? It is a big position. It is a position where it's like your connection is granted, right? But it's also like freedom of self that we already saw with this, right? So you looking at yourself, but having this simultaneous perspective, you know, that really causes you to become more humble, right? Of seeing the detail, but also seeing the bigger picture and going from these two perspectives. It's like, do not attach yourself to a tiny detail, or do not attach yourself to just the bigger picture. It's like you yourself have this gift and the responsibility, right, of being both, right? Of seeing through these two perspectives and seeing what you're able to see, but also respecting when you're not able to see, right? When things are illuminated for you with the sunlight, then you are granted full access. But when it's, you know, nighttime, it's like the sun is not there. So you will have to believe in yourself, even in the dark. Even when the sunlight is not there, when it's a cloudy day, right? It's like, keep on knowing and trusting that the sun is in you, right? And there are times that it will be like blazing out in the day sky. There are days there are not. It's like, it's simply just a matter of fact, right? It's like the same direct ability that you gain to see things that you couldn't see previously, right? Now you can see this in a very clear way. It gives you, you know, awareness, extreme awareness of who you are, where you came from, why you weren't given access to this information previously, why you were given access to this now, why you are being freed from this now, why you're being given this blueprint so that you can rewrite your story, but also know the pros and cons of taking in this role, right? And it's not a matter of choice, I want to say. This is meant to be. There is no escaping this, right? It's not about, oh no, but I just want to go back. No. It's like, it's who you are. So just be it, right? Be yourself fully. And I feel like you're ready for this, Cancer, right? I don't feel like you are afraid of this. I feel like this is all happening because you are ready, and because you have proven that you are ready. So just go for it. Do this. Yeah, so that was amazing, Cancer. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope this was insightful to you, if this resonated at all. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.